Greetings, fellow telenovelas. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And tonight, we're talking Mr. Banks. That's right, folks. That's right. I should have had the Beauty and the Beast podcast that Jacob Weil and I did as a Talking Mr. Banks episode, but alas, I did it as a Main Street Cinema because I'm an idiot, but we're back talking Mr. Banks. Dragon. Of course, it's our umbrella show about all things Disney and Pixar, and I feel like we haven't really talked enough about like baseline Disney Pixar on this channel in the new year. So we're going to really break this thing down for you all. This is the trailer for Coco, the 2017 Pixar release coming out in November, coming out after Cars 3, which Dragon and I, you and I, we both really like the teaser trailer for Cars 3. I will say this trailer is even better. This trailer blew me away. Dragon, what do you think of it?
Yes, it shows great promise, and if we're lucky, it could be kind of a. I'm saying hopefully both of them will be successful. I'm just saying perhaps we'll get a reversal of the 2015 year for Pixar.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, like
now again, let's
make
situation. Now again, let's make it clear. Again, not that The Good Dinosaur it's a fine film, just doesn't really blow you away.
It lives up to its title.
Yeah, it's good. Exactly. And that's kind of our usual statement on Good Dinosaur. It's good. It's solid. It's not amazing like Inside Out, because Inside Out was like the headline. It's one of Pixar's top tier films now.
Sure.
So again, that's a high bar, and just tone-wise, just based on these two, they both look impressive. But this one especially looks like it's going to be it could feasibly be the Inside Out, which would be impressive.
I mean, to me, my bigger comparison between, I think this kind of feels like Inside Out mixed with Up.
I kind of see that because you got to remember. Let's go over a few facts that we do know before we get into the recap stuff, because I kind of want let's just broach into that a little bit. So, of course, the director of this film is Lee Unkrich. Lee Unkrich, of course, has made debatably one of the most successful, well received Pixar films, of Toy Story 3.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm saying, an argument can be made for Up and other Pixar films. I still say that again, Toy Story 3 was one of the most huge successes for Pixar to date.
I think Toy Story 3 was a really good, it was kind of like the culmination of just studio-driven success and artistic success.
Exactly.
It was like an artistic film, but on a blockbuster level.
So the point is, Lee Unkrich, Lee Unkrich is one of the Pixar, one of our Pixar.
Is this only the second thing he's done for Pixar?
Well, no, here's the thing. Lee Unkrich has been in the trenches of Pixar ever since day one. So he's always been involved in Pixar. He's one of our kind of our classic guys, and it's always.
But I'm saying as just a main director.
As a main director, this is his second film.
Okay, yes. That's interesting. My
boy is Lee Unkrich. He's been in the trenches for a long time. A lot of people. There's always been that question looming ever since, unfortunately, we lost your end. Who would be the fourth of the big four Pixar? Mm-hmm. And of course, a lot of people have kind of been always flirting around, like Brad Bird. Of course, he's been usually kind of the go-to for that. Then you have, Bob Peterson, and you got Lee Unkrich. Those are kind of the three guys always kind of looming around who's going to take the fourth spot. But anyway, so Lee Unkrich, he was an editor on the original Toy Story. He's editing is kind of his main specialty. That's kind of what brought him to the big kids table, so to speak. It's kind of brought him to the adults kind of table, to the kiddie table. And he went to co-director on various films and co-directed many of the very notable successes of Pixar, such as Finding Nemo being one of the most notable, and of course Toy Story 2 and lead director on Toy Story 3. So he's always been building to this. This is kind of his first kind of original film, which of course we saw what that's done for other Pixar directors who have kind of taken on a franchise and then they're kind of branched out on their own.
Gotcha.
Yes. So, of course, the story, here's what we know about the story just in general. It's based on like the descriptions and synopses and stuff. Is that it's about a 12-year-old boy named Miguel Rivera. Miguel Rivera, who has musical aspirations, have a career in music, like his musical hero, his musical idol, Ernesto de la Cruz, who is apparently kind of the bane of his shoemaker family's existence. It would appear because the Rivera family has a bias against careers in music because their family history, from what we kind of learned on the outside here, is that their great grandmother. Their great grandmother's husband left her to pursue a career in music, which of course caused a big rift in the family and going forwards. There's always been like a really big distrust of a career in music. So, despite coming from an anti-music family, we basically our young protagonist here is going on an adventure to the land of the dead, where he will learn of his family's history. This, will be, of course, will be set on Dios de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, kind of the Mexican Halloween, so to speak.
Yep. Okay, yeah, that sums it up pretty well, Dragon. I'm sure we'll get into a bunch of Easter eggs and stuff as we go through this, pick up a few more plot details, but I love the way that this trailer is established. It really calls to mind just classic Pixar teaser trailers of we have a location and we have an intriguing plot. We just have this kid lighting the candles. Of course, this is an altar to De La Cruz. This is a traditional Day of the Dead thing where I know there's a Spanish word for it, but English, it basically translates to an altar for someone either you love or you admire who's passed on.
Yeah, and because you'll notice you see the skull there on the foreground. The skull, like on like a piece of bread looking thing, basically kind of like bread, cookies, and kind of sweets, or kind of with little skulls. That's kind of the crux of what's on the altar for Day, as well as candles and photographs of the loved ones. Again, it's kind of like a mini altar, which a lot of people are actually throwing some Kubo comparisons to this, by the way.
You know what? I'm. It's like, yeah.
Well, I'm saying there is a cultural correlation, which I do really. That is an interesting thing to really examine when you think about it. There, cultures have like a similar thing, but of course, going through very different expressions of that. But it's kind of the same.
I just think
premise.
Like with the guitar, like I think the fact that a guitar plays a main role in this movie is very unfortunate in this movie because of Kubo, and I hope it doesn't like hurt it. Because this movie already has to go against what is it, the Book of Life or whatever that Day is.
Yes, Book of Life is the biggest comparison. This unfortunately, Book of Life is going to be the biggest kind of comparison this movie is going to be fighting. Kubo was something I think just because Kubo is so successful, people are drawing that comparison. Because Kubo very specifically needs a guitar. This is just this is kind of like most notable for the type of character that Ernesto de la Cruz represents.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it seems like music, and this kid really wants to be a musician. Like it's gonna play a big part in the movie. The guitar, Absolutely. Of course, being like I said, as we see later in the trailer, the guitar is going to be a huge plot device in the movie. So,
and you got to remember, the guitar is kind of like it's the ultimate kind of cool instrument that kind of anyone can kind of have and kind of like learn to play by steps. So, guitar is always kind of the go-to instrument for people.
Mm-hmm. And then you'll also notice De La Cruz's company DLC throughout the room.
Yep, his initials.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool.
Not
Again, I love this.
Downloadable content.
It's not downloadable content. For a moment, I just wanted to speak to the great whimsical tone with the music, which I suspect is Michael Giacchino. Sorry, I believe it's Michael Giacchino. It sounds so Giacchino-esque from Up. I'm convinced.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't him. Yeah,
he's kind of he's kind of the main go-to kind of musical talent on for Pixar these days. But it could always be someone else we're not sure of. So I love the Remember Me poster in the VHS tape, and of course this does it for me in spades.
I'm sure, Dragon. Yeah, I like you and I. Yeah. It's one of those things with Pixar that it's just like an easy gimme. Anytime we have black and white stock Pixar footage, it's just like, yep, I love it.
And it's on VHS.
More please. Thank you, sir. Can I have another?
It's on VHS. It's on like a crappy beat up TV. It's awesome. And just to make it even better, I love the voice of Ernesto de la Cruz here. Benjamin Bratt. He's a really good actor. I've seen him more and more stuff. I get more and more enamored with him. He was in a movie with Cranston I saw from last year. It was really good. He was in The Infiltrator. He
was in that.
He's the big bad guy of The Infiltrator. Ooh. He's amazing. And he and Cranston, basically they develop a friendship as the thing goes on. It's fascinating. And of course, Benjamin Bratt
told me on The Infiltrator, so I'll have to check that one out.
And of course, Benjamin Bratt played Hernan Guerrero, Superman from Justice League Gods and Monsters.
Of course.
You and I both enjoyed. Of course, he was the most interesting part of that film.
Also played a small but pivotal role in Doctor Strange.
Yep. So Benjamin Bratt's, and he was in Despicable Me Too for the people who enjoy
That's
that.
true. Wasn't he the main villain in that?
Yes, he was the over-the-top kind of main villain. That he was hilarious in that.
As over the top as he was, I don't think he's going to be as. I think Trey Parker is going to top him in over the top. Like Trey Parker is a reason I'm really looking forward to Despicable Me 3.
The point is Benjamin Bratt, excellent actor. I think this is like a really great role. I can just imagine like Pixar pitched him this role and say, "Oh my god, this is so moving. I got to do this, man."
I think the closest comparison we can make to this role, I think, would be Gusteau.
In a way, yes, but I'm getting the vibe of, especially when we get to the museum later on, I'm getting kind of like he is sort of this character to me, especially when we get to kind of his place of residency or like museum dedicated and one of the two. I get such kind of it's kind of sound kind of strange. I get kind of he was the Elvis of Mexico vibe. I love it. I think it's really a cool idea. That's what they're going for. It's like that's his Graceland that we go to later.
Well, I mean, like just. Okay, hold on. Just first of all, I want to point out with this dog is a hairless dog.
Yes, which I can imagine is difficult to animate.
Yes, and it's named Dante, and I think that is a very appropriate name for the dog, considering Dante's Inferno.
Mm-hmm. And just given where we're kind of flirting with in between life and death in this film.
All this is just beautiful, like all the guitar playing and Benjamin Bratt's narration over it. It's just It just gets to me. It's
a great score and great visuals, but also what I love here is that I love the fan-made guitar. So the idea here is that this kid, he styled and painted a guitar like his hero's guitar, which is like an actual really well-constructed, skull-headed guitar. So he's like handmade this.
So really good facial animation here,
realistic kid reaction to romance, but again, it's like
and this is also like I can see the Elvis thing. I mean, of course, this is obviously, I think this is some sort of old telenovela.
Well, yeah, sure. Well, again, might be just like a movie, like more of a movie style.
It could be a movie. Fair. If it's a movie, then it would probably be more in the Elvis point of view. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking since it's a different culture and everything, I'm guessing he was a big telenovela star.
I mean, that's fair. We don't know. We don't know yet. But I think it could be on the money though. I'm gonna say it's more musical, so it seems more like kind of a movie style after you're a musician, like the Elvis stuff. But I'm just.
Yeah.
But again, this is really cool. And again, mainly what
that piece of animation blows me away. The realistic guitar plucking.
Yes. And mainly what De La Cruz is saying here, which I really loved it. It seems like what's really selling me on the movie take is I love this theme of pursuing your passion, which of course I can imagine would hit every animator and story man in Pixar really personally, which I think is going to be why this film could be really amazing.
Which is why I kind of connect it to Ratatouille so much, Dragon.
True. I now see I absolutely see it. Oh, yes. It's, Seems like kind of a fun crossroads between maybe kind of like an Inside Out meets Ratatouille, perhaps.
With a little bit of Up thrown in there for good measure.
Sure. Because, I mean, I think I'm drawing the Inside Out parallel because we have a young protagonist, this 12-year-old, which, of course, Riley at the end of that movie becomes 12. It's kind of fun, but kind of ushering into that.
Especially once we get to the land of the dead, it's going to be very high concept and colorful. And
okay, and of course that gives me chills, by the way, of those who have come before you. Because again, it's like a kid looking up to his idol, which you and I would do with so many of our directors and writers.
Of course. Oh man!
Of course, great score, great visuals, and all the leaf motif coming up when we hit the museum. But
I could just freeze frame any of these images and put them on my wall. They just look stunning.
Absolutely. So again, it also kind of reminds me of the hold an image.
Yeah, got it.
Well, first of all, just when we had the image beforehand, just of like him in front of like one of those great screen still shots. It reminds me of Bob from The Incredibles when he's in his office with the whole Mr. Incredible kind of shrine. But now this is an important shot for a few reasons. So again, what I believe has been confirmed is that the little girl in that photograph who will be most likely our protagonist's grandmother, but again, could be like maybe great-great-grandmother, most likely just grandmother. It is named Coco, which of course is interestingly the title of the film.
Which I think is interesting and fitting for this because it's like you wouldn't just want to name it Miguel. uh you know, because it's like I think the whole point of the movie is like ancestry and who came before and you know legacy and whatnot. So I really do like the title in that sort of context. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let me speak to this, and this is something I learned about recently, which may be a reason for the title. So there was reportedly there was a title change.
Well, Pixar wanted to just name it Dias de los Muertos because they just had the gall to think they had a copyright on a holiday.
Yes, that's what I heard. You know,
Yeah,
Dias de los
yeah.
Muertos. Yeah, because for the longest time it was just untitled Dias de los Muertos film. That doesn't necessarily mean
No,
you're gonna go with that
Dragon. I
title.
specifically remember, like, I saw logos and everything. It wasn't just like Untitled Dias de los Muertos Project. They literally wanted to call it Dias de los Muertos.
Oh, really? Because
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
that I know they wanted like kind of like permission to use that for like marketing and stuff on certain things. But okay, so it was boys. Yeah, it's there was a lot of controversy and everything over that. Not just with copyrighting a holiday, but also like just like there was like petitions and everything like going against
Well,
the
like I
film.
said, it is very much just like, you know, like Pixar just has the goal to go in and think they can just like name their movie a holiday. It'd be like someone naming their movie Christmas.
Well, to be fair, if I were going to allow any studio to do that, I would allow Pixar.
Although, to be fair, Halloween does exist, so.
True.
anyways.
I mean, I'd let Pixar have that because you guys have earned it. Just do whatever you want. You want New Year's? You got it. You want
Oh,
what do you need? You want 4th of July? Take it with my compliments, please.
Okay, anyways.
Would you like Easter? I mean, I'll paint the eggs for you. Anyways. Now, with the photograph as well, you'll notice there, of course, we are missing someone, and that guitar is very notable. That belongs to
With the skull. Yeah.
Ernesto de la Cruz. So most likely, the main story, reportedly the story with this photograph is that the great-grandmother and great-grandfather in question would be Ernesto and then the woman in the picture, which means Ernesto, being the great-grandfather, walked out on the family to preserve his musical career, which little Coco here had to grow up with and probably passed on the story as it went down the family. So that's why the anti-music thing would be put forward and why the kid's seeking out Ernesto. And there was a broken photograph suggesting that this was a big revelation. This is why our character is seeking out Ernesto in this scene right here.
Sure.
All speculatory, but
no, I mean it's somewhat speculatory, but somewhat confirmed at the same time. We're just kind of putting
I'm saying I think the
pieces of
Coco
released
thing
information
absolutely
together.
Yeah, it sounds like the Coco thing is confirmed, so the rest of it does kind of fall into place following that, you know.
Oh, I love the sound mixing and sound design here, where we hear the guitar, we hear Benjamin Bratt. You know, he sounds very faded. If it's as if Benjamin Bratt is speaking from like a memory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And of course,
And this is a beautiful shot here.
Yeah.
Everyone at their altars in this shot. It's a beautiful. Oh god, and I love the warm lighting around everyone.
I mean, it's,
Here's the remember me.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going nuts over this whole remember me thing because I love that it was his catchphrase, remember me, and it's kind of a really. I'm just saying that phrase is everyone's posters
anyone can cook, Dragon. Anyone can cook.
I know, but it's so moving of like a big kind of statement being remember me. It's like I think again, supposing this again most likely this characters that given people are celebrating. I'm just saying if we most likely we're gonna meet this guy in the land of the dead, and I can imagine like he's weighing in on like the reasoning behind remember me of like we want to leave a legacy. I can imagine like kind of like issues of legacy being brought up with like you do all this great again. I'm seeing a lot of great. There's so much great potential I'm seeing here, and again, it's basically kind of like kind of the Elvis of Mexico here, right? Kind of Mexican Graceland right now.
Yeah, I can see that. Especially this.
Yeah, the inside of like kind of a Graceland of sorts.
Okay, now here's like the one shot
quality.
that is like incredibly Kubo-esque.
Yeah, and again, like, I do like the leaf motif, though.
Yeah, but you've got to admit that's got to call to mind Kubo. Look, I'm not saying they ripped it off. I'm sure it was in production around the same time, but I just think if anything, it's rather unfortunate.
Yeah. Of course, again, the music here really does. I love the score here. It's amazing from here going forward, just when the guy walks through them.
Okay, this might sound really dumb, Dragon, but this is not Polar Express music.
No, No.
It sounds a lot like Polar Express music. Are you sure it's not Polar Express music?
I didn't really look into it, but I don't think so.
Can you listen again? I mean, not right now, but just like it's.
I'm reasonably sure it's not Polar Express music, but I can look into it at a later time if it'll appease you. Yes.
All right, fair enough. Okay. What do you think of the designs here? This is like the only design we get of an underworld person, but
yes, of one of these skeleton. Basically, of course, they're famous for the skeleton designs, the various skull designs. This is kind of cool little first glimpse we get at. I like it. They to differentiate themselves from other kind of Day of the Dead sort of like Book of Life or other things. We have eyes in our skeleton that kind of emphasize.
I really do like that. I think that's a really smart choice.
Yeah, we're not just going with we're not moving a skeleton to we're not doing the Jack Skellington or the Corpse Bride sort of gimmick with that. We're giving a little bit more. It's like humanity and kind of a.
And of course, it's just like one of the most well-known tricks in animation is just add big eyes for emphasis, for emotion. So
yeah, so it's looking good.
Notice they didn't have the good dinosaur in that lineup.
Oh, don't be like that. They can't have everything. They can't. They can't highlight every film they've done.
I'm sorry. I'm just being mean at this point.
To be fair, they never find room for A Bug's Life because that one was really early in the day, and they got so many others.
I mean, I'm sure A Bug's Life was like in front of Monsters, Inc. Anyway. So I really just have nothing to say at this point except, oh my god, it's so pretty and it looks so cool and the possibilities.
So again, basically, the Land of the Dead, as we see here, is really stunning in scope in our final shot coming up.
I just look at that, man. Just look at it.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like
in the orange.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the smoke staircase in Mary Poppins. In a way.
It does look rather stunning.
Oh,
here's the money shot.
Yeah, and what a money shot it is, right? It's just like, oh boy. There is so much potential, so many possibilities.
Yeah.
And just I very much think it calls to mind Inside Out, just with the colors and the aesthetic to it. Kind of the architecture is, very not necessarily the same style of architecture, but it's got the same sort of like, quirky kind of like all over the place style to it.
Yes.
Oh man. It's freaking beautiful, man. What more do you want me to say? All right. Any final thoughts, Dragon? Because I got nothing. It just the possibility is endless for this thing. I'm stoked. Honestly, this is probably my most anticipated movie of 2017 after the trailer. I'll admit it.
Of all the movies, or just
of all the movies? Of all the movies.
Really?
Yeah, of all of them.
Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy, really?
Spider-Man. Well, we've had this discussion before. I'm more excited.
Thor Ragnarok and
I'm more excited about Thor Ragnarok than I am about Guardians or Spider-Man, anyways. But yes, Coco, yes, because it just looks so artistic, so beautiful. I love the story. I love the characters so far. And I'm stoked for it. I think it could be another home run for Disney. So yes, this is my most anticipated movie of 2017.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to this one as well. Again, I think this will be another, as you said, another feather in Pixar's cap.
Mm-hmm. All right, any final thoughts, Dragon, or should we just sign out?
Again, just final thoughts. Again, I think this is going to be. I think Lee Unkrich chose this story for a very specific reason because there's a lot of fruit to it. There's a lot of fruit to bear. Dios de los Muertos is always kind of a. It's always been kind of a visually interesting, holiday always has great meaning attached to it. So this is like a good way of kind of walking people through what that holiday's about through a really touching story. So I think it's going to kind of serve many needs. But again, first and foremost, it's going to be telling kind of a story about pursuing passions and kind of leaving a legacy and kind of what that stuff entails. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Kind of like why Coco is the title, like one of the kind of the legacy of the family through Coco, as well as the again, I'm dying for this whole Remember Me legacy through Benjamin Bratt's character. So I'm very interested in this film.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just got to echo Dragon's sentiments. I just think this movie, just artistically, it's stunning. I just watched the trailer about 4 or 5 times the day it came out, just in a row, just studying the details, the music. It just all flows together and works very well.
If only it could come out in October.
Well, technically, Dias de los Muertos comes out in Dias de los Muertos is the first week of November, so that would
really?
that would be the ideal release date, Dragon.
Yeah, because I was just thinking like a happy medium between that or like earlier.
Right. Oh well. Well, I'm sure it'll be great whenever we get it, and of course, it's going to be a Pixar twofer this year. We're not going to get a traditional Disney animated movie this year. We're getting Gigantic in 2018, so we'll see how that goes. All right, folks, thanks for watching, and, as hyped up as we are about this movie, I hope Cars 3 is good as well. Let's not forget about Cars 3.
Yeah.
Get her done!